According to ccn.com, according to Japan's finance minister, Bitcoin isn't a credible currency, but he hedges his statement by saying it's not a credible currency yet. And so, speaking to Reuters, the former prime minister, who's now the finance minister, said there's no fixed definition on whether Bitcoin is a currency or whether it's not a currency. And that despite its situation of Japan as being this technological hub, this technologically forward society, Japan is seriously lagging significantly in digital payments and digital payment adoption when compared to other countries in their region like China and Korea. And this is a big, big deal. One of the reasons, at least, that Bitcoin and blockchain technology is so revolutionary is because of the decentralized nature of the technology. But the reason why the regulators and the banking institutions love blockchain technology is because it allows for incredible speed of payment transactions, which can unlock huge amounts of capital, even if the total amount of money supply was to remain the same. And so the fact that people are using cash more so in Japan, creating more cost and slower growth, as opposed to if the people were using digital payments for fast and quick technology. And this includes credit cards and PayPal and that sort of stuff. And so what we're seeing is that the adoption rates are 19% of Japan is using digital payments compared to China and Korea, which are seeing 50% of their societies that are embracing the cashless payment society. And so what's happening is that Japan wants to encourage cashless payments. Japan has this focus to focus on FinTech growth and this FinTech growth strategy to double the adoption rate of digital payments in Japan over the next decade. And a part of this strategy is obviously to facilitate the use, the awareness, the adoption of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, as we're seeing in other aspects of news around the world. Deutsche Bank analyst wrote recently to clients was that they think that the Japanese retail investors are actually shifting over away from leveraged foreign exchange trading between the Japanese yen and other currencies around the world like the dollar, and they're actually moving over into the cryptocurrency trading. And so this is what Deutsche Bank is telling their clients about not just Japan, but about where the Japanese society, how they're spending money and where they're spending money. And if Deutsche Bank clients and banks around the world are recognizing that more people are using Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, it's only a matter of time before the central banks start holding Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in their own reserves, in their own books, in their own balance sheets. 2018 is going to be the year that we start to see this. And so we are hearing this from Japan essentially saying it's not a currency, but they're not going to restrict it. So over here in Cointelegraph.com, we see this headline where a $240 billion Japanese company is going to start paying their employees in Bitcoin. So this Japanese company is GMO Internet, and they're going to start offering employees the option to have a portion of their salaries in Bitcoin as soon as February 2018, just around the corner right here. This is over 4,000 people who receive up to 100,000 yen monthly in Bitcoin. And so employees can receive their salaries by Bitcoin if they want to. And why, you know, what is the stated reason in this quote that GMO Internet is doing this? GMO Internet wants to improve their own literacy of virtual currency by actually using it. And so they want people to actually have Bitcoin, and who accepts Bitcoin in Japan? Every single retailer practically accepts Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, or has the option to accept Bitcoin and cryptocurrency across the entire nation of Japan. And now this company with 4,000 employees is going to be giving this cryptocurrency to people. These people are going to start learning about Bitcoin. They're going to start learning the differences between Bitcoin and fiat money. They're going to start asking questions like, what is money? And this is going to dramatically shift their awareness and their actions consciously and subconsciously into wanting to hodl Bitcoin and to use Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies alike. This is going to increase FinTech strategy goal in Japan of getting more people to more quickly adopt digital payment technology. And this is going to create a huge amount of inflow of Bitcoin into the land of Japan, into Japanese society, so that if something happens with fiat currency, with the global financial system of US dollars and Japanese yen and whatever other fiat currencies there are in the world, Japan is going to be poised all with Bitcoin wallets, all with a little bit of Bitcoin, and all of that little bit of Bitcoin can get real big in terms of its future valuation. So this article also goes on to note that companies doing this, offering Bitcoin, is not very different from companies offering pensions and other investment options. And as crypto holders are, receiving Bitcoin, it's going to be different than savings accounts, which have other access controls and other rules and other restrictions centralized, as opposed to the Bitcoin technology, which allows people to have their own sovereignty and their own wealth without requiring on third parties to, trust them or depend on them to hold their value or to send and receive their value. People receiving more Bitcoin, we also would expect to hear more news about organizations accepting Bitcoin. So in Japan's strategy, that's exactly what we're seeing with the rise and the growth of the Bitcoin adoption in their nation. This is a perfect example of what a smart country would do to create as much inflow of this crypto water, which will enhance just the nation of Japan, right? And as for the United States, for example, this is what I'm trying to say. If we're pushing out the Bitcoin awareness, if we're pushing out the Bitcoin adoption, if we're telling people that Bitcoin is a bubble and it's all gonna fall to pieces like tulip mania, then no one in America is gonna have Bitcoin or any of these cryptocurrencies, or an extremely low percentage of people, as opposed to Japan, where there might be a huge percentage of the population that has this. And it's a difference between the regulators in the country allowing it in, saying, you're going to be taxed on this, and we're not going to say it's illegal, but we're not going to say it's illegal, and you're responsible for the risks involved with this blockchain technology. But it's a difference between allowing this flow that, to come into the country versus pushing it away. And so in this article from Finance Magnates, we have Japan's largest car dealership who's now announcing that they're going to be accepting Bitcoin as an experiment in 24 of their locations. Largely, as we've been talking about, the Japanese society and the Japanese government has accepted the new age digital coin with open arms. And this company is listed as IDOM Inc. on the Tokyo Stock Exchange. And from all of these 24 stores, they're going to be accepting Bitcoin payment up to 100 million yen, which is about $888 per purchase. So right now they're going to accept up to let's say about 50 Bitcoin per transaction. So if you wanted to buy, I guess, something that costs currently over $1 million, you won't be able to do that. And with the value of Bitcoin increasing and decreasing, this is really interesting. But this is definitely good press for Bitcoin. This is definitely good news for Bitcoin. Everyone in Japan is going to be hearing about this. And what's really interesting in that the whole Asia Pacific region, down into the APAC area and stretching across Asia, people are definitely paying attention to what's happening across all of these different countries. The last thing that we're just going to say about this is that what's happening in Japan, what's happening between the regulators, the governments, the central banks, the people, the businesses, the consumers, everybody, is that the Japanese banks are also thinking about making their own cryptocurrency called the J-coin. We've talked about this extensively in the past. This is actually a super old article from the end of September, but they've been talking about this, straight through the summertime. And so this might be in the future for the Japanese people, where they start acquiring all this Bitcoin, they start acquiring all of this cryptocurrency, and then the Japanese banks will have this new J-coin, where it might have a great exchange rate, it might have extra benefits, who knows, like what carrots or sticks they may use to get people to use the J-coin. But this would be then a medium of exchange for the banks then acquire their own Bitcoin while providing other products and services. However they're going to get people to want to use the J-coin, I don't know. It'll definitely be interesting to see how all the countries in the world roll out with their own bank coins and their own country coins. So I just want to give a shout out to Joel. Joel, thank you for joining us on Patreon. That's super awesome. We can't thank you enough. You know, we do sponsored videos as a part of this station, you know, that help fund us and to help keep us going. This takes an incredible amount of time to research all of this, to, you know, pull these articles, for us to run the analysis, to create these videos, to cut these videos, to syndicate these videos, to, you know, make connections with other people, to leave comments on videos, to answer people's questions, to answer people's emails, to run our Discord chat, to, you know, we run meetups locally for our local community in and around Rochester, New York, at Bitcoin-NYS. You can get right to our meetup link. There's so much that we're doing, and we're not crypto rich. You know, we weren't in the game when Ethereum was $10 or $5 a piece, right? That's when we were at a point, you know, with our family and our 5 kids, that we were able to start getting our toes in the ocean, our feet in the ocean. We really went, you know, knees deep, because we have believed in this technology. I personally have believed in this technology for the longest time. I just didn't have the money to invest raising a family and just moving through my career. And the reasons that we're running this channel, the reasons that we're bringing everyone this information, the reason that we've let this consume so much of our personal time and invested, you know, our personal wealth into, you know, silly things like lights and cameras and stuff, so we can tell more people about this technology. We can get more people involved. We can get more people to have their own Bitcoin address, their own MyEther wallet address, their own Trezors, so they can, if they can bear the risk, they can consider getting a little bit of Bitcoin or Litecoin, you know, making a transaction, helping them understand how the Lightning Network is going to make the fees lower, and how the miners have an incentive for higher fees because they're making those transactions on every single transaction. Talking about how Bitcoin Cash is a good hedge in case the Bitcoin system does for some reason explode. Thank you very much, you know, for the patrons who are donating. Thank you very much, Joel, for being there. You've been there for a long, long time, and you know, I've already appreciated your support and liking the videos and commenting the videos. So many of you out there. Our engagement rates are just far, far better than channels that have 4 times our size or even twice our size. Thanks for financially supporting us. You know, if we had, you know, 1,000 people to each donate $1, or 100 people to each donate, you know, however that math works out, it'd be great to be able to have true independence, and we're really looking forward to getting to that point so we can do this even more.